Our next speakers, I would like to introduce Dorothy here. She's our 11 East manager. And we have Alejandra. I saw Alejandra come here. You want to come in for a second? So both Alejandra and Dorothy represent our hospital leadership and our live donor coordinator team. They want to introduce our patients
yes,
for today?
I will. So, I'm Dorothy. Nurses play a vital role in the success of organ transplantation, from timely administration of medication, patient education, for advocating for our patients, and the list can just go on, the wonderful things that we do as a nurse. So this afternoon, it is my greatest pleasure to introduce one of our stellar nurses from 11 East, Olivia Rivera. Olivia Rivera is a newly hired bilingual nurse, proficient in English and Portuguese, celebrating her one-year employment mark credits from the new grad program. She has a wide educational background. She started with attaining a bachelor's degree in chemistry with minors in psychology and humanities that provided her the foundation to volunteer for the Peace Corps in Mozambique, Africa, I hope I pronounced that right, where she instructed HIV and AIDS awareness courses, taught computer classes, built a village orphanage, and set up the first annual science fair at the local level. Upon arrival to the U.S., she became a biology and chemistry teacher for students with learning disabilities. She then obtained a bachelor's degree in nursing after becoming a kidney donor to her brother. Indeed, we are very fortunate to have Olivia here to share her story, her experience that transpired her to be a nurse. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Thank you, Dorothy, for that introduction. I can't believe you remembered all that information. She read my resume. So I'm Olivia. I'm a nurse on 11 East, and what inspired me to become a nurse was the fact that I myself was a kidney donor way back in the day in 2000. I donated to my brother when we did our transplant here at UCSD. This is back in the days, Dr. Hart, but also Dr. Khanna, Dr. Steiner were here during that time too. I think I was like one of the first, I think I was like number 7 to get the laparoscopic done, so I was lucky to not have the big scar on my back and have to go through all that. But it's actually nice to hear from Dr. McKeel that the long-term effects of donating are minimal. I was like, ooh. I'm a 12-year living proof that you can live with one kidney just fine, so let's hope it keeps going. So basically, back in 2000 when I donated my kidney to my brother, like, ever since I've never regretted it a day since, except for the day after. I woke up in so much pain that I was like, what the heck was I thinking, getting myself into this situation? And I'm sure Q over here will tell you the same thing, that, you know, you wake up and you're in the most pain of your life. For me, I was 18 years old. This was my first surgery. I was a healthy young girl. So to go from that to like incredible pain and bed rest was quite a shock. So needless to say, I was a patient on 11 West, and the 11 West nurses were amazing. Like, I can see why you guys have all those Daisy Awards and everything, because you guys take really good care of your patients. I mean, from the nursing perspective, I was the worst patient. You would have hated me. I had a bad attitude. I didn't want to get out of bed. I think I begged my nurse to keep my Foley in so I didn't have to get up. Like, actually, one day PT got me up and I actually fell, so I'm sorry. I hope you guys got your bonuses that year. I was just like such a mess. But I mean, the nurses were so patient with me, and I think at one point one of the nurses had to kind of get like tough with me and was like, listen, you're healthy, you're young, you know, all this pain is temporary. So get up, get moving, you know, and she really helped me change my attitude towards healing, and I kind of needed that. I kind of needed a kick in the butt, you know. I was young and I was stubborn. I was like, no way am I getting out of bed, like, screw this, you know. So I really took a lot from the nursing staff. They went out of their way for me a lot. Like, I was there a little bit longer than the 3 days. I think I was there for 5 days just because I was such a bad patient. And one nurse took the time to like wash my hair. I remember this. I don't know why that was such a significant thing, but I felt so gross, and she just, you know, got me in the shower, washed my hair, and I like felt so much better after that. One nurse took me down to the solarium and like just let me like look outside and see the sunshine. I was like, you're right, I want to get out there, you know. And then when my brother, actually he was down on 5 IMU when we used to be 5. And they brought him up to 11 West once he got transferred up to 11 West, and he comes in my room and starts like running circles around my bed because he's doing amazing. And he's like, what's wrong with you? You know? So it was all like a very positive experience. I think the nurses definitely played a big role in that, encouraging, having a positive attitude. You know, they see these donations happen all the time. They know you're just going to be just fine, but I didn't know that, you know? So they took a very individualistic approach with me, which I appreciated. And so after all this, you know, I was in school at the time. I was only 18. I always put in the back of my head that I knew I wanted to be a nurse after this, because the nurses that took care of me like really made an impact on my life, and it was kind of nice. So it took me a while. I went the roundabout way of becoming a nurse, but finally I got to have my dream come true of working here at my #1 goal hospital on my #1 floor that I wanted to work on, getting to work with transplant patients and getting to empathize with these, you know, donors and recipients and people getting nephrectomies from, you know, renal cell carcinoma and other things. Like, I can really like show people that life's okay with just one kidney. So I love getting to take care of great patients like the ones you'll hear from next, Elisa and Q. They were some of my favorites. But I just want to say, like, I think our nursing staff does such a great job, and keep up the good work. I think, you know, there's a reason why we have such good positive outcomes from our transplant. I think a lot of that has to do with the nursing. So kudos to you guys. So yeah, it's been 12 years. My brother is still, my kidney's still hanging in there somehow. It is on the outs, so who knows? And hopefully by the end of the year, you guys will get to meet my brother up on 11 East with a new kidney. So he's been on the list for about 5 years now. He's that type O that's got the longest wait. In case anybody is type O and wants to become a part of the One Kidney Club, let me know. But on that note, I want to introduce our next speakers. Like I said, I was fortunate enough I got to take care of them when they were on 11 East for a short period of time. Some of my favorites. This is Elisa. It's actually her second kidney transplant. Her first one was a deceased donor that lasted how many years? 11 years. And then her second one is now from her husband, Quentin, so, or Q, as he goes by. So without further ado, I'd like to bring them up.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. We were sitting here talking, it's like, what's my motivation? No. Well, there's so many things I can say about my experience and my story, but I want to keep it short because I can have you here all night. But as Olivia mentioned, this is my second transplant. The first one was from a cadaver, and it lasted for about 11 years. And some things I just want to stress about that is that as I was going through the failure process, it was really important to me to be a partner with my doctor. I'm a Kaiser patient, and during the time that I was visiting with my doctor, my creatinine level was really high. But because I knew my body and I had experienced dialysis before, I was able to talk with my doctor and help him understand my quality of life and how going on dialysis would impact that. So instead of him just kind of going based on the numbers, he actually partnered with me to understand how the effects of the creatinine itself was really affecting my ability to do what I needed to do on a day-to-day basis. I worked full-time, I traveled a lot with my job, and so having to be on dialysis would have been a significant inconvenience for me. Not to mention, though my numbers were really bad, I felt really good. I still had function. There really wasn't any issues to speak of. So my doctor and I kind of came to an agreement when certain things would happen, then that would be when I would communicate that I needed to go on to dialysis. And unfortunately, or fortunately I should say, that actually never came to fruition. But because of the transplant that my husband was so gracious to offer to me, I actually had to do dialysis prior to my surgery. But beyond that, I was operating with a 18 creatinine, going to work full-time, traveling across the country here and there, working at church and doing all sorts of other things, and there was no impact to me. So what I would say is that, not to get my doctor in trouble, but to say that if you are physicians, it would be great for you to talk with your patients and really make sure that you guys are working in partnership and you understand what they need, because the numbers don't always tell the true story. I've always been abnormal in terms of my kidney function and my ability to function. So I would say just, your patients really do sometimes know their bodies and know what they can tolerate and what they can, and although the numbers may suggest something different, just partner with them and talk to them about it. Fast forward, I know my kidney's failing. I put myself on the list or done the things that are necessary to get onto the list. I was on the list for 4 years, but I also knew inevitably that this kidney was going to fail that I had. And so, thank God that my husband was willing to get the testing done to determine whether or not he was a match. And he was, and not only was he a match, he was a better match than my biological family. So I started wondering if we were connected somewhere. But, they put us on a fast track. And, the staff here at UCSD is just phenomenal. I mean, just from soup to nuts, everyone that we encountered was just awesome. And it made the experience really seamless for us. Really wasn't any difficulty, anything that we needed to do, and it really became my family to us. So I just want to thank everyone that has been involved in our process. But we got through it. We had a little snafu, and I don't want to take all the glory, so I'll let my husband talk about some of the challenges that we encountered through our surgery. But, we're sitting here before you as 2 transplanted patients by the grace of God.
Good afternoon. My name is Quentin Carson. They call me Q. 27 years in the military, United States Navy, Master Chief. So, let's talk about this kid. I had 2, now I have 1. So, of course, I have a unique advantage of seeing, I was there when the first, we also grew up in the same neighborhood in Northern California, so I've been knowing her since back when I couldn't stand her. I was there to watch the first kidney process as the nervous husband, wondering if your wife was going to be okay, and then she went through some complications doing her first kidney transplant, little rejection, so everything went smooth. We move out to San Diego, and then we find out, another kidney's going to be needed. So the first time she needed a kidney transplant, I never got tested. Never thought about it. Figured it would be a long shot that I would even be remotely close to being a good donor. Then when I found out what her blood type was, I was like, oh, that's my blood type also. Let's go get the test done. And as she told you, perfect match. Actually, I think my kidney works better in her than it did in me. So I am very anti-hospital. I am very anti-man. I don't like going to the doctor. I don't like to do any of that stuff. So, but the staff at UCSD, Alejandra, and just that whole crew, from the beginning to the end, was just phenomenal. My nurses on my floor, I think I got kicked out. I didn't really want to leave. Besides, my wife was still here. Only thing I had to go home to was my kids. They wouldn't leave. I was kidding. So we went into the surgery the first time. I'm almost certain that was like December 18th or 19th. when we went in, we had a slight complication. The complication was my oxygen level dropped too low. So, Dr. McKeel was my doc, the best. And so, as my levels went down, they stopped the operation, did some tests, ran some tests to make sure that, everything was okay. And then on December 20th, we went back into the surgery, and I stand before you, or sit before you, one kidney down, one to go. But since that day, I mean, if they didn't tell me they took the kidney, I wouldn't know. I haven't had any problems. My level's been great. My energy is still great. So, it's just been a miraculous process. And then, of course, like I said, that kidney got in. My wife took that kidney, and her levels just instant change. I mean, you can see the instant change. So she was already high powered. Now she's even more high powered, which means I get more work to do right now. So I don't know what else I'm supposed to talk about other than the fact that I can't say enough how much the nurses made me feel comfortable, because that pain on the next day, oh my gosh, that will test your manhood right there. Just something as simple as trying to sit up, it was straight pain, but they got me up, they got me walking around, which is probably, they wish they didn't do, because I just kept on walking, and bugging them at the nurse's station. But phenomenal crew. So I don't know what else I'm supposed to say, but if you have any questions, I'm ready.
I'm Corey Caggy. I'm your coordinator at Kaiser, and I just want to give you credit because you're the ideal patient. I wish all my patients are like you. I'm sorry if I'm harassing you some days. I want to get it done, but and look what we got here. So, and also I would like to thank the staff of UCSD, and I do have a lot of comments, really praising about you guys, and all my patients really had the best experience here. And so, kudos to you guys, and Alisa, I wish you all the best. And I know I'm supposed to attend this, I took off from work, and I've been in and out of here because I've answered all the pages that I've been getting. But I know I have to be here because I'm here to be here. And thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
For being a good patient.
Thank you.
I think I'd like to just echo about the staff on 11 West. The same thing, I just got a call from our Good Samaritan donor, Rita May, who you just took care of 3 weeks ago. She cannot say enough about the nursing care she received. She said, she said, I just felt like such a special person on that floor, Sandy. And, she's the kind of donor who, she was an anonymous Good Samaritan donor, so she gave a kidney and didn't care to know about who received the kidney, but she just goes on and on about the staff and how wonderful they made her feel and how everything was easy because of them. So I wanted to be sure you guys, I don't know if she said it to you, but she's been saying it to us all for so it's a wonderful thing to hear.
It's sad, it's phenomenal. I'm coming to work here. I don't know nothing about medicine, but I can push a cart real well.
I also want to add, Quentin was actually in school before he started the workup, so he took a little break from school, completed his master's degree, and I just heard that he's not going to retire after all.
Well,
maybe
I'm
not.
not going to retire when I was going to retire. I'm retiring next year now. That was pretty funny. So I'm in the middle of school, and I'm like, how am I going? I had a test coming up, so I'm like, test white. That's an easy choice. I need to take this test. So I was doing my master's at SDSU, and the staff over there, once again, very accommodating. She allowed me to take my test early. I only had to miss one class for kidney surgery. To me, that was phenomenal. So I only missed one class, and I graduated.
And we call all our donors heroes, so you're a hero. and Alicia's doing very great. Congratulations.
Do you have any more questions? Do you have any donors today? Taking names?
Any interested donors?
You any interested donors? Yeah, talk to Alejandra. So, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming here today. Okay. Raffle, yeah. Don't you leave yet. We're not done yet. We have one more raffle.